Beats by Trill, straight Killerville, dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's good? What's good? We are back. Another episode of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. We're gonna take you back into the world of BKFC. We got another interview. We're gonna bring in Connor, the Irish Warrior, McKenna. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you, boss?
I'm doing good. Let's get you a little short round of applause going.
Hell yeah.
All right, so before I get into the BKFC though, I want to talk about I've seen a footage where you was game bred, bare knuckle MMA. I want to talk about that experience first, what that was like.
Yeah, man. Game bred. It was a good foot in the door. I believe I fought in Game Bred 3, so it was a little earlier in their production time. But it was a good, first company to fight for professionally. It was definitely cool meeting Masvidal and working under him and shit like that. But like, it was another one of them 2-week notice things though for me. So I didn't have much time to prepare for it, and I kind of just jumped right into it. My last 2 fights before Kalmas, that's pretty much what I did. So just to kind of get my name in and my foot in the door. And like, I'm one of those people who like, I don't really care. I fought Hamdi in the game bred fight, and he was an Olympic wrestler. He had a full camp. I knew that going in, but it's one of those things like, I'll fucking scrap you. Let's do it. Make some money.
Did you already have plans of going into the BKFC before you did that fight?
Oh yeah.
I'm hearing that a lot. Yeah,
that's why I did that. To kind of get my foot in the door.
Yeah, because I interviewed Scott Lampert, and he was supposed to actually fight at 61, but they said it was medical reasons that he couldn't fight. But he said the same thing. He went pro in boxing so he could get into BKFC, because you either got to go be a pro fighter, or you got to go, I guess, through the prospect series, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to show that you got some sort of degree, some sort of background, and I think it helps a little more if you got a bare knuckle background too. So they like knowing that you could take a punch in the face with a bare fist.
So doing game bred and then doing BKFC, what's the biggest difference to you?
Production, and BKFC, I feel like a lot of the people behind the scenes, it's like a big family atmosphere. Like all the people who are there, who are helping out, they're great, So I never have any issues working with them. Everything's very transparent. And I like the way the BKFC is run. I like the people who run it, and with them, I really got no complaints. Like Game Bred in the beginning was more or less, it's the beginning of Game Bred, so they're still working out the kinks there. And in my head, I was going in there like, most brutal sport in the world. That's what they kept saying, most brutal sport in the world. And these motherfuckers stopped my fight in like fucking a minute because of a swelling. I didn't get knocked out. I didn't get anything. And it's like, y'all playing this most brutal shit. Like, let it be brutal then. Let me fight. Let me pop off a couple punches before you call that shit.
That's crazy.
So,
Let's stay on that family thing. Like, because I've interviewed a few fighters, and that's all I hear is the family environment, family atmosphere. Is it none of these other fighting organizations, they don't have that family atmosphere like that?
I mean, not that I've come across, not in the big leagues. Like for
Yeah.
the BKFC being so big, it's like if you were to look at like BYB now is like the Bellator, and BKFC is like the UFC of bare knuckle. So it's like we're the top of the game, and for them to be at the top of the game and be very chill, and very respectful towards their fighters, I don't feel like I'm going there just to make them a check and leave. You know, like when I fought for Game Bread, yeah, I love Game Bread. It was great getting in the door, but I also felt like a hooker or some shit. Like it was like, you did my thing. Now get the fuck out of here. Here's your money. They had me on like I was leaving at like 3 in the morning or some shit in Game Bread. Like it was crazy. So it was just like I felt like I was used. For a check, but that will happen in this sport.
All right, so I've actually been responsible with a few interviews with Zach Kalmus. One where I
Yeah.
interviewed him myself. I was actually going to interview you before the fight, but what is it like fighting Zach the Shark Attack Kalmus, man?
He's good. He a lot of pressure. Uh the thing with him is, you know, I expected I'll say it to this day, I'm a better boxer than Zach. Like
Okay.
100%. You watch that fight back, I got clean hands. Zach's a brawler, you
No,
know.
he's a brawler. Yeah, that's what I've
You
always
got a
said.
motherfucker coming at you swinging them big softball pitch punches, some of them are very unpredictable. Like it might look like people like look at that shit and be like, "Oh, that shit don't look like too dangerous or technical or whatever," you know. But when you're not thinking about it like that motherfucker, he pitches one over and it gets here and then it swings down, So it's like
Yeah.
it's a quick punch. It's a dangerous punch. But he's a game opponent. I like everything about him. Motherfucker punched me in the back of the head a couple times. In the second round, I don't think I would have had the same outcome of the fight if I didn't get clipped in the back of the neck. But I'm not gonna bitch about that shit. I'm a G. Like if me and him were to ever do it again, it would be 10 times better. I guarantee that. So you know, I like him as a person though.
I do
He
too.
was
I
real
do
cool
too.
backstage. We're real personable dude.
He
Somebody I
is.
can actually have a conversation with. He is yeah, he's that motherfucker. There's a reason why I called him out. Like years ago I called this motherfucker out. It was to get into the BKFC. And I knew that me and him would have a good brawl. So it's like, I played that shit. I was like, all right, I'm gonna fuck with him now. And I messed with him so much that he ended up deleting me off of Facebook. I'm still not friends with the motherfucker. But I think that will change. I think he deep down
Yeah,
loves
yeah,
Con. I
yeah,
know he
yeah.
loves
It'll
me.
change. Yeah.
Yeah. So man, even if we were to go at it again, he still loves me. We would still be friends. He's still a good shit. I have no animosity towards him. I uh I think he's a dog. I'm a dog. We're both in a dog sport. So, I'm happy I got to share the ring with his ass.
What did you learn from that fight, and what would you try to do different?
Oh man, there's many things I'd do different. I put the pressure on him more. Uh I tried to let him, I let him push his pace. I wouldn't let him push his pace next time. I would do my work, and I think it would be a little more of an exciting fight too if I gave him, my forward approach instead of my backwards approach.
Now, the thing about BKFC is like I noticed you lost, but you were still able to celebrate because y'all got fight of the night. Like,
Oh
how did
yeah,
that feel?
it felt good. Like I took an L, but I took mad W's. Like, like I walked out of that arena and every motherfucker in there knew who I was, and they liked me. When you walk out to Madonna, the president of the company's talking about that shit. Like, people love that shit. I'm here to entertain. I'm not just a fighter. So it's like I walked out with mad W's. I might have taken the L, but I even got hit up today by a fucking movie company, Netflix, one of them Netflix shows. It's an Asian show that they wanted me to do some auditioning for. So it's
That's what's up.
and that's all just from a fight. They see how you are, they see how you move, they like it, they pick you.
You think it's easier to deal with the losses in BKFC because, like you said, it's entertainment. Like they're really putting on a show, man. They're really putting on a show with these fights. I mean, 12 fights back to back to back, sometimes more. I
Yeah.
mean, they pump them out quick. It's not a lot of space in between them and stuff like that. And
I
a lot of these fights, they drag out the fights for
Mhm.
more commercials and things of that
Yeah,
nature. And BKFC really
bullshit.
wants you to just get the fights.
They're there for
Yeah,
fighting. This is
yeah,
another thing. President of the company is on the side of the ring
yeah.
yelling, "Get that bonus! Get that bonus!" When you got the president of the company yelling, "Get that bonus," motherfucker, you're out there trying to get that bonus.
Yeah.
So it's like, that guy is the biggest fight fan I've ever seen. Just to see how excited he got when I would, go in. That when you're working for somebody who's that excited about what you're doing, shit, you're gonna get a good outcome out of that. And with the losses, fuck that shit. That don't mean nothing to me with the BKFC because hey, it's a bare knuckle fight. Anything can happen at any time, and it means completely nothing to me, really. I'm still getting paid at the end of the day, and everyone still loves me. So
Now, I've heard we interviewed a fighter one time and they were saying boxing, like it starts out slow and then it gets fast, and then BKFC it starts out fast and gets slow.
mhm,
Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. Yeah.
Now, do you think with that analogy, like typically you want to try to get the fight over as quick as possible?
Yeah, you do typically want to get the fight over as quick as possible, but you got to be also ready to have the gas tank that if that doesn't
Yeah.
happen, and you got to have the mental toughness that if that doesn't happen, you're about to go to war, and you're about to feel that war. So you got to really fucking do it right. Like for me, I knew I had a pretty good gas tank going into the this fight, so I wasn't really worried about that. I had to focus on him. But like, if you have an unlimited gas tank and you're going into this fight, these type of fights, you really have nothing to worry about because if that spark doesn't happen right off, you don't knock him out. Fuck it, ride it out, catch him in the later rounds, and I feel like this is one of them sports where it's almost easier to do that because I tell you, you take a shot, bare knuckle, you're gonna fucking it's either gonna rock your world or it's gonna split you.
Yeah, and the comebacks I've seen are just really amazing usually, man. Like it's
Oh
usually a
yeah.
guy get beat up for 2 or 3 rounds, and then the last 2 rounds he gets that one punch in that you could just see, oh, it just is the game changer. It just switched to his way, and then bam, he's just taking advantage of that, and it's over. Like Ryan Reaver, like I think it was 2 fights ago. I mean, I literally was like, man, it's over. There's no way Ryan's gonna win this, and he won it. It's really amazing, man. Now when's your next fight
It
gonna
is.
be? You think
So I'm probably looking to fight again in fall. I'm
in
letting
the
this
fall?
fucking thing heal.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a pretty good cut in the Calmus fight, so I'm gonna let that heal. I'm gonna come back 10 times better than I was even this time. So, I'm feeling good. I don't have really any injuries from the fight. My ribs are a little bruised up, but that ain't nothing bad. Nothing I can't deal with. But I start training Wednesday. So I'll be back in the ring.
Yeah. So this is your second fight, right? Yeah. Are you just gonna take whoever they give you, or you just got somebody specific in mind that you're trying to target?
Fight.
What you say?
It said it was My second fight in the BKFC, but my third pro fight.
Okay, okay. And
Uh,
you fought Brady Meister. Let's talk about that some, man.
yeah, yeah. So
He
I
he he
fought
wa- he
Brady.
had like a real height advantage on you, from what I could tell.
Oh man, he was about a foot taller than me. Uh, he was a game opponent. My opinion, I just was not ready. I took that fight, and I honestly didn't think I was gonna be fighting anymore. Uh, so I wasn't in shape, wasn't doing anything. I was just a dad, doing dad shit, taking care of kids, that type of stuff, working, uh, smoking weed, not doing anything too fun, that or too fun in the way of like training and shit. But that fight was 2 weeks notice. I dropped 37 pounds. I was
Oh
walking
man.
around at 315 pounds, and they let me fight at a catch weight of 273. And I just wasn't ready for it. So like when I went into it, I I went in knowing that I had about a round in me of banging, and I was gonna gas out. I could even feel it backstage. My legs were fucking jello. Uh, I with losing all that weight, and then I gained at least 20 pounds back within the next night. So it was
Man,
just too much.
it's crazy like how y'all have to. I heard somebody else say that they had to try to make so many pounds off in a matter of like 48 hours, and they did it, but it just puts so much of a strain on you, I would think, before you get into that fight.
Yeah, it completely fucks you up. Like, you lose power, you lose energy, you lose pretty much everything. Like the water in your head when you're cutting the weight like that, you don't have the brain fluid jumping around up there. So like you get punched, a punch is way harder than it should be, you know? And it's because you're in an unhealthy state.
And you're fighting heavyweight, right?
Yeah. So 265.
So that's what, like Mick Terrell and his weight class, right?
Yep. Yep.
Houston Alexander. I mean, wow, you got some. There's some nice. There's a lot of bad boys in this weight class.
Lot of killers. Lot of killers.
What'd you think about what happened with Juggernaut when he fell with and broke his arm? You think it was just a freak
That
accident, or you just gotta watch how you fall better in the BKFC?
that's a freak accident, I think. You do got to watch how you fall, but pretty much you never know how you're gonna fall because you can get clapped and your shit could be all twisted up behind you. But he got caught with an uppercut, I believe it was, and he ended up falling back. And when he did, that accident happened. Shit happens, but I believe that was a freak accident. I don't think we'll see too much of that shit going on.
Yeah, I know he was definitely upset about that because Juggernaut. I mean, he was biggest one of the biggest names in the sports, definitely.
Yeah.
What do you think about the future of BKFC? JR the Lion Ridge says he thinks it's gonna be as big as UFC, but it's its own thing.
Yeah, yeah, I believe that.
I believe
Especially
that
with
too.
McGregor around, like that
Yeah.
motherfucker brings eyes in, so many eyes, and so much money. Sponsors, everything. So it's just gonna be like, you know, higher platforms of TV is going to want to be involved with the BKFC. Things are going to skyrocket. I feel like the BKFC one day we'll look back at it, and I'll be like one of those guys who was in the days before it got super big. Like, and it would be cool because I could say I was that motherfucker.
Yeah. Do you think Connor's ever gonna fight in the BKFC at all?
Yeah, yeah. I think Conor got his next. He got like 2 fights left with the UFC or some shit like that. But
Uh-huh.
I think to grow his own sport, he owns, a good portion of this shit. To grow it, have him and like Mike Perry bang it out. That'd be the biggest motherfucking pay-per-view you ever seen. You
I
know,
mean,
like
it kind of looks like that could happen.
yeah, yeah, and Mike Perry gets to fight his boss technically. That's fucking dope.
Even though I still want to see Redneck Mandel versus Mike Perry. That's like
That'd be good. That'd be
that's really
good.
been my go-to fight, man. Cause I'm a big Redneck Mandel guy. You know.
Yeah, yeah. But shit, if Connor gets in that ring, the sky's the limit.
Nah, I think it is, and him buying into the sport, it makes all the sense in the world. It really
Oh
does.
yeah. Yeah, and this is where the real savages are, man. We fight bare knuckle. You know, no matter who you hate, or dishate, or whatever, even fans. You know, no matter who you hate, you gotta respect these motherfuckers, every one of us, because we get in there and we fight the most savage fights. And a lot of these big time boxers, you ain't ever gonna see Floyd Mayweather up in no shit like this.
Nah, you're
You
right.
know.
He ain't.
So these motherfuckers bitch about glove size. They bitch about everything. They bitch about wraps. They bitch about whatever they can bitch about. I go in there and I fight with these, you know, and see another motherfucker across the ring who's gonna fight me with these, and he don't give a shit. So you gotta
Yeah, y'all
respect
like
it.
the modern day American gladiators. Once I first seen it, I was like, man, this is some American gladiator shit right here for real. Like,
Hell
if
yeah.
boxing, not being what it used to be, it's just prime time for BKFC to just come and take a lot of those fans. Like, if you're a big boxing fan, I would be watching BKFC right now a lot more. It's way more exciting.
Yeah.
Just because some of the names might not be household names, you get some real good fights. And like, what is it, 62 that they got going on in
Mhm.
Florida again? The
Yeah.
card on that is ridiculous. You got three
Yeah.
title fights. I honestly think all three of those titles are gonna change hands, in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah.
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 I think
Hell yeah.
Brian El Gallo, the Rooster, is definitely gonna win his. Even
Mhm.
though I know a lot of people doubting Kai Stewart, every single fight, he still wins everyone. I think this might be the one. Rockstar, I like you. You're a rock star, but what's my man? I can't think of his name. Let me pull him up real quick. He's a Cuban cat. I think he's gonna
Uh,
win that one. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick for you. 62. Where you at? 62.
is G fighting in that
Roberto, I
one?
think it's Alberto Blas. Yeah, Alberto Blas.
Yep.
Yo, he's a badass. He's a
Yep.
badass. And then you got the Escoboza cat. I think he's gonna win. I think you got three.
Yeah, that's a pretty stacked fucking night.
Yeah. Then you got Ibarola. You got Incline versus Cutman.
Yep. I think Cutman
Vincent.
got that.
Yeah. Incline lost the last one, I think, too.
Yep.
You got the I think I pronounced Plazola, the Dream Killer.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a stat card, man. And then you got my man Marcus Flores as an undercard as well. We did an
Oh
interview with
yeah.
him. He's got a great story as well. So what's your goals and what are you aspiring for in the BKFC? Everybody
My
always
goals are
says
just
it's the win the belt, but sometimes I hear people just say it's not always just to win the belt. Sometimes it's to gain momentum and
no man.
just
I, legacy, bro. Like
legacy.
legacy is everything to me. Like I'm a McKenna. You know, my family's name. We're proud of it, and legacy is everything. We've been fighters through my whole family, through forever. So it's like it's in my blood. You know, I want to show my kids that you can go out and do whatever the fuck you want to do, no matter where you're at in life. 3 years ago, I was fucking nothing. Nobody wanted to talk to me on a podcast. Nobody wanted to, nobody gave a shit about me. And I got in there. I started doing things that I wanted to do. I started pushing those limits that I didn't think I could push. And and once I realized, like, now I'm a part of the club. Now I'm in. Now being in, it's time to capitalize. And if that means, whatever, all I want to really do is have epic fucking wars. And when people say, yo, Conor McKenna, yo, they talk about me as a dog. They talk about me, going in there and doing right towards fans, doing right towards myself. And that's what I want.
Well, Irish are always supposed to be fighters, though, right?
That's right. That's right.
That's right. Where you on your way to now?
Right now I'm heading home. I actually drove in with my boy Doug. We all
What
work
up,
at
Doug?
what's up, man? Furniture store up in Colchester, Wendell's Furniture. Here's the plug for them. You know, but I'm a salesperson and I'm also a warehouse guy, so I do a little bit of everything there.
So are you doing like one fight deals at a time, or like trying to do multi-fight deal? I know some people, they like to do 3 fight deals, and then some people say it's better to do 1 fight deals at a time.
I jump on the one fight deals because I feel like I get better negotiation with that.
That's what I heard. It's you
Yeah.
get better negotiations out of them.
Yeah, I feel like I'm working for me and not for, somebody else, which is nice.
And so your next fight, you saying should probably be in fall, and you'll probably be training again when?
I start training Wednesday.
Wednesday, man. Y'all
Technically tonight with my jogging, but that I don't
okay?
call that training, you know?
And what some of your training consist of?
My training consists of, well, with this camp, I'm going to do a lot more sparring. Uh, I do a lot of bag work. I do a lot of road work. I like to stay moving, you know. As long as I'm staying moving, I feel like I'm good. Yeah, I'm ready to go at pretty much any time if I just stay moving.
Yeah. And how much was y'all's fight for the night bonus?
I haven't gotten it yet. I'm waiting
You
on it
ain't
right now.
okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely waiting with a big smile on my face.
So you don't
Yeah.
even know how much you got yet?
No, I have no idea.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah.
What, do they change it every fight? It's like different amounts every fight.
I believe they do it off of pay-per-view numbers
Oh,
and
okay.
also attendance numbers.
And it was sold out, definitely, right?
Yeah. I know it's gonna be pretty fat though. Because
Yeah.
if the president's yelling, make that bonus, it better be good.
And I realized like every time they sell a venue out or area out, they try to go right back there. And that was the first fight in Connecticut for BKFC. So I know that was big for a lot of people.
Yep, yep. It was history, and I
Yeah.
was happy to be a part of history.
And where you from the Vermont area?
Yeah, I'm from Vermont. I'm from St. Albans, Vermont. I live in Sheldon, Vermont, though, right now.
Okay. Well, I ain't gonna take up too much of your time. Before you go though, anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, I would love to shout out some. I'd like to thank all my sponsors. Yeah, if you guys didn't help me, I wouldn't be here. Um, I'd like to thank my wife for putting up with my shit. A lot of time spent in the gym. My kids are very young, so she's got to deal with a lot of that, which is hard. And I would also like to thank, my bosses at work for letting me take the time off to go chase my dreams and come back all fucked up and shit. And they have to, so pretty much
That's
everybody. I
what's
love
up.
everybody who follows and supports me.
Well, I'm definitely, as soon as I get off here, I'm gonna get to work, clipping up some of these short clips and get them out there and, help promote you to the world, man.
What was that?
I said, I'm definitely, when I get off here, I'm gonna get off and start working on these clips and try to help promote you to the world, man.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that, my man.
All right, you take it easy. Thank you for joining us on the Paul Pickett podcast, man.
Thanks, Paul. You have a good one, brother. Thanks for having me.
All right, peace.
Peace out, brother.
Well, that was another one for you. Fight of the night at BKFC 61. Conor McKenna versus Zach Kalmus. And as you heard, he's still waiting for his fight bonus. He don't know how much it's going to be. It's based off of pay-per-views and attendance. And that was at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncastle, Connecticut. That took place May 11th, 2024 at 7 p.m. And he was the heavyweight undercard. And you also heard Zach Kalmus on here before on the Paul Pickett podcast. And we're going to keep banging them out with these BKFC interviews. And we're probably going to start dabbling into some of these other fight arenas with combat sports and the game bred and, everything else. Because, this is a music, sports, politics, world events podcast. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. And I'm out. Peace.